Today I'm going to show you my design solution to one of the minor annoyances in Apple's iTunes app. And that minor annoyance is the fact that each song in your library can only be attached to one album at a time, even though it's quite common for a song to be part of multiple different albums. The most obvious example is a song that gets included in a compilation album such as a movie soundtrack or the Now CDs that I grew up with. A song on one of those CDs will obviously also be part of an album released by the artist of that song. So the example I'm going to show you is My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, a singer I kind of have a soft spot for. That song is part of her album Let's Talk About Love, as well as the Titanic movie soundtrack. If you're a 90s kid like me, you'll remember My Heart Will Go On being basically the only song that came on the radio during the month that Titanic was released. Before I get into the design, I have to tell you that I had to resist the urge to make this into an Adobe XD tutorial. But then I remember the comment section of the video in which I redesigned the Star Wars website. It seemed like some of you wanted more of my UX thought process. So I'm going to create a UX focused video series in which I just do the redesign and then later explain my thought processes. That way you don't have to sit through a step-by-step UI tutorial, and more importantly, I don't have to make one. Okay, so now I'm in iTunes. To edit the information of the song, you right-click on the song and then you select Get Info, and it brings up this overlay. You'll see all the basic info fields, but most importantly, you only see one for the album. So I'm going to open up the prototype I created in Adobe XD and show you how my solution works. I moved all of the non-album related text fields to the left to leave room for the album section at the right. To add an album, the user selects the plus icon next to albums. That brings up a new album with all of the related fields which the user could fill out. The first added album automatically becomes the default album. To add additional albums, the user selects the plus icon again. Here you see two albums, and the default album dictates the information shown at the top of the overlay. If the user adds a third album, the one at the bottom becomes partially hidden and is revealed when the user scrolls. Since movie soundtracks are often part of compilations, the user can select the compilation checkbox here, which is part of the current interface. Or I should say it's part of the interface that I redesigned here. And to remove an album, the user can simply select Delete Album until they're gone. Now I could have gone deeper with this interface, but for the sake of time I had to leave out some interactions. For example, I didn't show how an album cover gets added to an album. Also, on a project like this, I would consult with a copywriter regarding the language delete album. I'm almost more certain there's a more accurate way of communicating this to the user. Like, for example, a detach album might be better because it doesn't sound like you're deleting an entire album from your iTunes library along with all of its songs. And lastly, even though this project is part of a series that focuses on UX, I'll touch on the UI for a moment. I used a flat design basically as a personal preference, but my goal was just to update the look and feel from something that didn't seem so outdated. Also, the colors I used aren't random. I got them from Apple's developer website on a page titled Human Interface Guidelines, and there I went to visual design and then color and grabbed the RGB color codes. That's it.